4 separate shootings have rattled the Odessa community this week. 2 people have been shot and 1 is dead. The police have a suspect in custody who they believe is behind all 4 attacks. A former Killeen police officer pleads guilty to a 3rd-degree felony. Yesterday, at a pre-trial hearing, Anthony Custance pleaded guilty to tampering with evidence after the execution of a no-knock search warrant left a man dead. A plea agreement was reached with the state. However, the judge was not agreed to the deal. Instead, the judge says because there is enough evidence for him to be found guilty, Custance must undergo a pre-sentence investigation followed by a punishment hearing.
I feel empty inside. I still have nightmares. I can't sleep at night.
A Bell County grand jury indicted Custance on June 5th for tampering with evidence. He then quit the force and turned himself in.
So one of the things we want to keep you guys informed about here is Killeen. This is our eagle eye looking over the area. Traffic flowing pretty smoothly today. However, we want to make you aware of something that you might run into if you're traveling in the area coming up over the next few days. So this is basically what you're going to be looking at. Your route's going to be a little longer. That's because people near Fort Hood are going to be running into the 1st Cavalry Division, who's conducting a convoy movement of around 260 military vehicles using 2 different routes for a training exercise. The convoy heading from Fort Hood to Camp Bowie Training Center in Brownwood started about a few hours ago, and it'll go through 6 p.m. tomorrow. Well, culinary giant Gordon Ramsay made a stop in Texas earlier this week, and for a legend like himself, tasting the world-famous Snow's barbecue was on the top of his list. Voted the best barbecue in the state of Texas monthly, No's Barbecue has been based out of Lexington since 2003. Typically, the restaurant is only open on Saturdays until they run out of food, but according to a Facebook post, the owners made an exception for Chef Ramsay on Wednesday, and how could you not? Congratulations to them.
Aaron, thank you. And just as recovery efforts got underway for the communities affected by the 9 tornadoes in North Dallas Sunday, more severe weather pounds down on that city.
Check out all of these downed trees and power lines. The National Weather Service says an EF3 tornado touched down in Dallas, an EF1 tornado in Rowlett, and an EF0 in Wills Point over the weekend. Now, the storm caused widespread damage in the city, and now more are on the way. No word yet on how those who lost homes or businesses are faring during these fall storms.
In the meantime, part of the Texas Panhandle is beginning to look like a winter wonderland when snow fell in cities like Amarillo Thursday. The National Weather Service tweeted that preliminary reports showed 4 inches of snow fell 5 miles west of Amarillo. Several communities in the area were expected to get 1 to 3 inches. The last time Amarillo saw snow in October was back in 2011.
The Wednesday arson arrest shocked many in Central Texas, but not everyone.
To some in Limestone County, the name Martin Ojeda sounded way too familiar. 25 News reporter Dennis Turner looks into Ojeda's background and turns up some surprising details.
A locker room dispute, raising questions about bullying in China Spring High School. The dad of the player being attacked wants people to know his son's okay and is ready to get back to practice, but wants other students to use what happened as a learning experience, that bullying won't be tolerated.
I think we can, however, use this as a tool to enable kids that truly are being bullied continuously to speak out.
China Spring High School released a statement and says this type of behavior is completely unacceptable and disciplinary action was taken. Now, this comes as parents are starting to dig into the bullying conversation and raising questions about the fine line between bullying and team bonding. One mother took matters into her own hands after her son took his own life. She started an organization dedicated to continuing this conversation. And we're here now with Jackie James, who lost her son Peyton James to suicide in October 2014. It can be difficult to recognize the signs of bullying in your child if they don't come to you directly. Now, here are some tips from stopbullying.gov on how to tell if your child is being bullied.
Right now, we're getting reports that former Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg is dropping out of the race. According to ABC News, Buttigieg is expected to make the announcement tonight in the Indiana town of South Bend. As we know more, we'll continue to update you online and on our mobile app. And are you ready for Super Tuesday? In just a few days, the polls will open in 14 states, including here in Texas. The massive one-day voting marathon is a big day for candidates because it could significantly change the direction of the remainder of the race. Right now, Democrats are polling all over the board. The most recent poll from the University of Houston shows that Bernie Sanders is leading in Texas. All those numbers wouldn't be possible without some serious money. Presidential candidates have already spent a record during the primary process. 2020 primary spending is now at more than $1 billion. In Central Texas, we're gearing up for our own primaries. Early voting is closed, and on Tuesday, the polls will reopen for local elections. Texas will award 228 delegates in Tuesday's primary. The Lone Star State has the second largest delegate count among the 14 states that are voting that day. 25 News is your source for election coverage. Make sure you follow our social media pages and have the 25 News app downloaded for Super Tuesday.
And I want him in a home where he's going to be forever and not keep getting tossed around.
This sweet guy right here, Bosky, has been searching for his forever home his entire life. Recently, one of his former foster owners saw him at a Rosebud Kill Shelter during a story we covered with 25 News. That dog was in the shelter and set to be euthanized, but his foster owner came to the rescue once again. Now, she's hoping to find him a loving home. 25 News' Eliza Navarro shares the story. Time now for some health alerts. Coronavirus concerns have caused Texas A&M to cancel all spring break trips to Italy. This comes after authorities recommended travelers from Italy to self-quarantine for 2 weeks before they're allowed to return to campus. The university has already placed both China and South Korea on a suspended travel list. French authorities decided to keep the Louvre in Paris closed today because of coronavirus concerns. Yesterday was Leap Day, and Texas hospitals welcomed in newborn babies in a very special way. Take a look at these pictures. The hospital staff is calling them Leaplings. And as you can see, they were dressed up in frog costumes to play along with the Leap Day holiday. People with a February 29th birthday make up only about 0.07% of the population, so happy birthday to them. We'll celebrate your birthday again in about 4 years or so. And Jack, I actually have an uncle who was born on Leap Day, so yesterday, happy birthday, Tío Martín. It was your birthday.
Yeah, I had a friend, Emily, who had a birthday yesterday. We celebrated, and it's crazy just to think about having a birthday only 4 years.
Every 4 years. I have trouble celebrating once a year, so I think that might be okay.
Let me tell you, celebrating once a year, the Lady Bears have gotten in the habit of celebrating once a year. The confetti from last night's celebration probably not going to get swept away for a while, but for the Lady Bears, their attention is going back to taking care of business. Up next in sports, hear what Coach Mulkey had to say about their performance on a fun night in the Farrell.
If you're running the Ironman Triathlon tomorrow, be on the lookout for this guy. Marcus Cook used to weigh nearly 500 pounds, and over the last few years, he decided to kickstart his fitness journey. Now he hopes he can be an example to other people looking to get fit.
When I come across that finish line, I want people to use my finish line for their starting line. That's what my whole journey's about. If I can do it, you can do it. I am proof.
Marcus plans to run the Ironman Triathlon carrying his cardboard cutout. His next race will be the New York City Marathon in November. Well, Astros fans certainly had some celebrating to do last night when they took home their first win in the World Series against the Washington Nationals. In the top of the 6th inning, with the Astros leading 3-1, Robinson Chirinos hit a solo home run to make the lead 4-1. And in the 9th inning, with the same score, Roberto Osuna closed out the game with a strikeout. The Astros get the win 4-1. The Astros look to continue their run tonight at 7 when the World Series Game 4 kicks off in Washington, D.C.